like especially black kids, like they don't get as many chances, let's say, as the other kids would.
So when I was growing up, I was like, why am I always the naughty child?
But there's this uniformed thing that society does where it's like, as a man, you shouldn't cry. It's white people and then there's people of colour.
And we're live! Hi guys, welcome to Deep It with Kay. We have three kings in the studio with us today to talk about the pressures, stereotypes and the mental health of black men in the UK. Thank you for coming. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Alright, I'll go first. I'm Naaman. I'm a father of three. I recently got into youth work, worked for a company called Spark to Life, which is a charity. Okay. And yeah, I'm really interested in being in this panel to, discuss some of the things that affect me and my community, and just trying to get the word out.
Yeah, I'm Karl. I work in a primary school with kids with ASD, autism, all sorts of mental illnesses and on the spectrum. Also work in fitness, working with youth in the gyms, used to box, and now I'm looking to start my master's in psychology, hopefully God's be alive, in January. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and I'm Shane. I'm a videographer, photographer, dabble in a bit of music and, writing for a few artists and for myself. Yeah, I'm studying at the minute, doing plumbing and also nutrition. And yeah, that's my thing still.
Hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having
Your
us.
opinion
Thank
is
you.
valued. What do you lot think about the term toxic masculinity?
Ooh.
Boy, who wants to take this one? I could talk about this all day.
Yeah.
Go first, man.
Yeah, go on, bro.
I don't like the term toxic masculinity because I feel like it doesn't pinpoint what the problem actually is. It's more of a societal view of how men are supposed to act.
Right.
And in terms of the black man, that is very different from the white man, or the Indian man, or the Chinese man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like to umbrella it under the one term, toxic masculinity, I feel like it means different things to different styles of men. You get what I mean? The expectations of me as a black man is different from the expectations of the white man.
It's true.
And that might just be because of the way society views us. That might be because of stereotypes. That might be because of culture. Even me as a Caribbean boy, a boy that's maybe brought up in an African household, there will be different expectations and different ideals of how we are supposed to behave. You know what I mean? There's the whole yardie thing, the bad man thing. That's where that might be one expectation, and then there might be if you're born in a Nigerian family and your parents are very strict stereotypically, and they want you to go to university. That's another thing. If you're born in an estate and you're a roadman, that's another thing. You get what I mean? So
what might be natural behaviour for you culturally could be deemed as toxic simply because it's not.
Stigmas and stereotypes kind of coincide. So, for example, black men are supposed to have huge penises and those kind of things there, and the expectation of having to be good in bed and all those kind of stereotypes that follows that masculinity. For black men in especially, whether or not we're aggressive or we don't smile, we don't express ourselves, we don't get married, or we've got no aspirations for marriage and so on and so forth. Those are the kind of things that kind of follow our culture as black men, which irritates me.
And a lot of them things aren't even true. Not even true. Like black men are out here getting married. Black men are out here having feelings. You get what I mean? Like we're human beings. Of course it's happening.
Yeah, man.
So
it's different. At the end of the day, it's like what's been put on as well for the generation to like feel a certain way is also drafting down to like the kids, the little ones. So you go on road now, and because of this whole toxic masculinity thing, or they feel they need to be a certain way, they won't smile at another bro that they see on the road or another person. And like even myself, I've experienced a lot of times where you just be going about your day and then the black person's thinking they see another black person, it's time to put the face of aggression on. I just say, well, go on, bless up, and it changes quickly.
Throws them off.
Yeah,
literally.
and then
Sometimes
the whole energy's
you're
different.
Deeper guy with a deepest screw face. And the moment that you
you
greet him or something.
It's different.
It's just like literally, but it's the bravado.
And imagine that if more people as well was to just like, you know, greet and that, I feel a certain different energy as well from certain people.
100%.
Like, yeah.
You know when you go on road and you see like a ras, for example, you do that nod. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
We're taught to greet our elders and stuff on road, but like you said, if we greeted each other on the same vim and respect level, it would be a lot easier.
Way easier, definitely.
It's similar to when you're walking and someone grabs their purse or locks their door, isn't it?
Even old folks, like when I see them, I more time will try across the road, like just to not.
Make
and
them
it's mad,
uncomfortable.
yeah, exactly, and it's mad that like I actually choose to do that, but it's just because you've seen so much fear that's been built up from the black man image and all of that. They'll watch the news and all of that, and they'll just be converted to be like, oh, most of these black people are just go out to harm.
Oh, scary,
Scary, yeah. Like,
And you find yourself having to overstand things that you shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Like, if I see a woman and it's dark and I'm wearing a hoodie and I can see she's visibly like distressed coming towards me.
Yeah.
More time when I was younger, I'd be like, forget her kind of thing and be like, whatever, however she wants to feel with it. Now as a grown man, I'm just like, you know what, let me make this woman's life easy. Let me cross the road first,
that's what I'm saying.
and just let her ease up herself a little bit.
Yeah.
And imagine that, like some people might see that as a little thing, but that's a whole thing. That's
a whole
changing
energy.
the whole.
I've convinced myself that a lot of people have that mindset.
Yeah.
I might be completely wrong. She might be doing it for completely different reasons.
No, but you didn't come up with this for no reason.
This is what I'm
There's been
saying.
reactions that's made you.
It's been forced.
But would you say that those are more stereotypes or the masculinity part that makes it toxic?
I'd say that's definitely more stereotype. We need to again break down what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
Because even our view of what it means to be a man is gonna be different. Your life experience is gonna be, but there's this uniformed thing that society does where it's like, as a man you shouldn't cry, or as a man you should want to fight. If somebody steps up to you, you shouldn't back down from it.
It's like you're now not seen as a man unless you put yourself in danger.
Yeah.
And there's a clash, there's an ultimate clash, because at one stage in time, to be a gentleman was to be a man.
Yeah.
So if you open doors for your woman,
not that long ago as well.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like
Chivalry.
Yeah, all of that
Courting,
Marvin Gaye era with man singing about how much they miss their woman and how
You say that
you know
because
what I mean?
music as well has changed a lot of things.
Of the perception.
Expectation and perception.
But it's all, I think it's all part of the agenda. Somebody is benefiting from making black men feel like they
So
need
you're not pointing
to,
fingers, but someone
is perpetuating this idea that black men need to be seen as this stereotypical idea of what we have on masculinity, where it's this kind of thuggery gangster kind of drippy kind of, you get what I mean? Like everybody knows what it kind of looks like. When you look at the music videos, you can see them dime a dozen in it, and a lot of the youths that I see, like, more part to them making their music and whatnot, but it's the same stuff that we grew up on when we was, because I grew up in the grime era and whatnot. It's the same stuff that we used to hear from our parents. They ain't talking, they ain't talking nothing. I feel like their music slightly Diet Coke compared to our, you get what I mean? As bad as it is, I don't feel like it's as bad as, because when I listened to some rhythms back in the day,
you don't want to bring arms out.
These times the youths are more talking about how they got sauce and how they want to be up in the club, and they're making their little dances and whatnot, and it's just like, it is very Diet Coke.
Drill's got an international community.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now it's like there's a voice and there's a movement happening.
But you feel like it's pushing the stereotype more that you are all aggressive.
In some ways.
Like maybe if there was a balance and they put out music, more Marvin Gaye music as well, it would be like, okay, there's two different types of black men. But right now it's just one type of black man and it's drilling.
And that's the stuff that they're marketing. They're not, because it's not like these artists, like these Marvin Gaye type artists ain't there, you know. They're there, they're doing their things. I go to open mics and I see certain man doing their poetry and whatnot.
But it's moist now.
Now it's moist. Now it's like
changed now. They're saying it's an agenda because that's what they're pushing, that's what they promote.
They don't want George the poet up there. They want bloody my man talking about how he's gonna murder his brethren. They don't want no one stepping.
I'm not trying to sell out my sisters, but when I hear toxic masculinity, I do think like, I've never heard toxic femininity.
I think one of the reasons why it's because the black woman isn't supported in her role at all anyway. They they're the most vulnerable people within that kind of spectrum.
I feel like going back to the description of what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman, in terms of being a woman or being feminine,
Like you're allowed to be.
it's a lot more. It's easier in some ways, isn't it? And it's a lot more palatable because femininity is classed with caring and classed with being soft,
emotional.
You go all those kind of things. I feel like the reason why women don't get classed as toxic is because if I'm using the term toxic masculinity, it can apply to women as well. Okay. A woman can have toxic masculinity.
So if she's being toxic, then it's seen as masculine.
It's seen as a man.
Yeah.
She's behaving like a man. If she's aggressive or shouting, in society's view, that's what men do. Yeah. It's more targeted on the behaviours or the ideas of the way black men behave.
Right.
Yeah. Let's just say we're in like a corporate environment, and you've got a boss and he's head of the corporation, white man, whatever, and he's talking down to the people that he works with.
Yeah.
All them little micro-isms that we have to deal with as black people.
Management, so you have to turn around and adjust yourself depending on your scenario. So you've got your white people voice in those scenarios. You can't completely be yourself.
And those kind of things will not be seen as toxic masculinity. They will just be seen as he's a boss, isn't it? He's doing what bosses do. Yeah. But me as a black man, I can't come with that same energy because of the stigma that rolls with being a black man. You get what I mean? So
again, we just act out our titles at the end of the day. So whatever title you have, you're allowed to do certain things, and if you're a lower title, you're not allowed. So it's a thing of not seeing anything equal at the end of the day as well. Like
that's why we have to coin our own terms, man. We can't go around letting them call us babe and all this stupidness. We have to coin our own terms and approve our own terms.
We touched on babe in another video. I was like, stop calling us babe because there's no black people that like it. Like, ask your black friend. We don't like being called babe.
I don't even like the term people of colour. People of colour. Because then it's just othering everybody else, isn't it? It's white people and then there's people of colour. It singles them out as being the top or being the status quo and everybody else being everything else.
Touch on your school experience as a black man.
I mean, at the time, like, obviously, going through school and that, I didn't really see that. But as I've grown older, I have many family members who've gone through that. And it's mad you say that about the school and the teachers, because I had a family member who, a young kid, he was going to the school and whatnot, and they were saying he's causing so much trouble, calling the parents like several times a day. She then went to the school and they said, well, there's nothing really on record showing that he's been a bad student. So I was thinking, where's that all that coming from? And then from his actions, like for instance, if he doesn't like something from the teacher, he'll then be labelled, and then that's just going to stick with him. And the other teachers, teachers, everyone gossips. Yeah. So the teachers are going to gossip to the other teachers, and they'll be like, oh, that's that kid. Yeah, the one that don't listen. And
so it's a preconceived notion.
So that's exactly what it is, and it needs to be broken because that's ruining kids' lives, like especially black kids. Like they don't get as many chances, let's say, as the other kids would, and that can be heartbreaking, man.
There was a program that came up on BBC One called Sporlax. I know the actors that was actually playing in the actual show, and it was a particular episode where this young black boy was in school. This is probably like the 1980s. So things like ADHD, we hadn't really analysed how mental health was at the time.
It's a bad you.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a naughty you. And during the 80s, things like dyslexia and stuff like that, they didn't understand it. Anyway, so what basically happened is they took him out of the school and they put him into a special school. Now, at the time in the 1980s, for a young black boy to be taken into a special school was deemed like you're a stupid child. There's something wrong with you. The same stigma kind of follows through, because when I was growing up, I was like, why am I always the naughty child? What is it that made me the naughty child? When I actually watched the episode, I was like, I resonated with that so much that I went to get into youth work because he suffered from dyslexia, and that's all it was. Or dyspraxia, which is numbers as well. So he's kind of breaking out and expressing himself in a way where maybe it is a bit disruptive. It's because he doesn't understand. One of the things, because you work in the school as well, to get them assessed for them to, as black people, we don't want that to happen. We don't want to turn around and admit and say, hi, maybe my child does suffer from something. It might come from those stereotypes that follow us because I don't want my child to be special but you're putting your child in more problems. And for me,
and it's definitely cultural as well.
It is cultural.
It's like, I'm telling you, I'm going to say this directly into the camera. If your child has difficulty in school, get them the help they need.
Now, nip it in the bud.
Get it done from the beginning. I've had so many conversations with parents saying to them, listen, being offered a tutor for your child, even if your child is a genius, if you can get a free tutor for your child, why would you say no? Why would I want a free tutor for my child? So if even more so, if your child needs the extra help, then you can't deny your child of that, because the earlier you get it done, the more things that are possible for them from that young age.
Because you get to an age where you can't get the help. So when you get to like 16, they wash your hands of you.
You're by yourself.
You're by yourself. As far as they're concerned, you go to college, you didn't want to get anything done, it's too late. And getting the assessment, it takes 18 months, and then you have to go through CAMs and all the other bits and pieces to get assessed. If your child was on the spectrum for something like autism, you might turn around and be like, and this is what I say this in regards to the culture and what I've seen, you've probably seen it more, but it's almost like, oh, there's nothing wrong, you know, we don't want to do anything because we don't want to be singled out. You're making it more difficult for the child to grow.
Because when they're a big man now, a big woman,
are you going to be dealing with all of that?
And there's a lot of excuses out there. Like, a lot of it is self-reflection, because they themselves might actually struggle with things like learning difficulties.
Then you continue with the trauma.
Like, because I got through it and nobody assessed me. You know what I mean? His father putting his pants back to front sometimes as well. It's not you know what I mean? You have to think to yourself, like, why would you then want to continue the same pattern?
Do you think that could be because people say that, oh, black people have to work 10 times harder? Do you think that one of the reasons why they're reluctant to do that is because it's like, oh, if their child is now labelled as SEN or Senko, then they're not going to be able to get far.
They now know your child is had to go through something or get extra help, and that's seen on the parents' mind as, that's embarrassing. But at the end of the day, if they do that, there will be a quicker path out. And the whole thing on titles as well, it can be so hard to break off. Like, for instance, like this whole dyslexia thing as well, that can mean a bunch of things. But once a parent hears that and then a child gets it in their mind that they're dyslexic, that's going to challenge them for so long.
Sometimes as
well.
That's and like coming from a personal background, because I'm dyslexic, and I found out that I had dyslexia in university, and I had to figure it out for myself. Because one of my friends that was working with me in a group, he was getting his dyslexia test done. And I was like, oh, what does that entail, kind of thing. When I'm reading some of the stuff that dyslexia, because I had never done any kind of research into it, so I'm reading it, I'm thinking, this is me. This is 100% me. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I didn't take the test when I was in university because I had those same kind of thoughts. I thought to myself, young black man from Hackney with minimal work experience, minimal GCSEs, and on top of that, I'm now dyslexic. You know what I mean? So I don't want that written on any kind of official doc. That was my mentality at the time.
You already have so much on top of that.
In society's view, you've already been capped for so many different things. Like the way you're brought up, the area you come from, the family you come from, all of that kind of stuff. And all of that stuff was not on my side growing up. You get what I mean? So I thought to myself, I'd be damned if I added what I thought was a mental disability on top of that. You get what I mean? Now that I look back on it, I think, you know what, I should have just done the test and boom. Like, got the help that I needed, got my free laptop and the P's or whatever. It would have made my life so much easier. But because of that level of ignorance, I did have to persevere through things that maybe gave me more of a drive now and didn't allow me to kind of fall into this laze of the label of being dyslexic. You know what I mean? Like, now I understand that society's come a long way. Even in the short 10 years where it's like we've got laws and legislations that say you can't discriminate against somebody. You know what I mean? But back then it didn't feel like that to me. It felt like as soon as I stepped into a job interview, like I was being judged. Especially if it was like quite a high role. It didn't even have to be that high of a role. But something that it's not normal to see a black man of colour with dreadlocks doing. You get what I mean? I remember I've gone to the interview, I'm suited and booted, I'm sitting in a room similar to this one with other people. I'm the only black man there or the only person of colour there. It's just white women and white men, which is fine, whatever. The cleaners come through the door looking for someone, he's a black man. The interviewers come through the door, he's a white man. So they both come through at the same time. They've seen us all sitting on the sofa. I'm wearing shirt and tie and same as everybody else, you know. And the white man, the interviewer, said to the black man cleaner, are you looking for him? I pointed directly because obviously
cold.
Because obviously he's a cleaner, he's a black man.
You didn't even start yet, and the microaggression and the racism has come.
And I sat there and I thought to myself, you know what? I actually
You have to laugh it off.
You know what it is? I actually thought to myself, like, what, like, are you being serious?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the people in the room almost looked at me as if to say, are you with the cleaner? Are you coming for this interview? And then, like, through the interview process, I remember, like, my whole energy towards the job
changed.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted to just get up and leave, but I thought, you know what? At the same time, another stigma upon stigma, I did not want to be seen as the aggressive or the disruptive black guy that just goes, "Bun this!" And like, part of me wanted to just slap down empty the office and just be like, take the cleaner with me, like, let me save you, brother.
Let's go play basketball. Yeah. I don't see colour. God, I don't know.
I can't stand that.
Because when they say it, they touch your arm. It's like, oh, I don't see colour.
But I think that's more dangerous. I think it's more dangerous than if they said, I see you, like, I see you.
They say that is I don't see colour.
The fact that you're saying it to me and I'm not your colour shows you see colour. If you were sitting with a white person, you're not going to tap them and say, colour. So you see the colour, bro. Yeah, you can't stop seeing it.
Yeah, I think what they mean is I'm not like the other ones.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's
I don't want to say racist.
Yeah, I'm not like them. Like I won't treat you differently because you're of a different colour.
Yeah.
But then that's like, it's like a catch-22 in it, because it's like you've already initiated the difference. You get what I mean? Whereas then if you just came to me and you was just like, yo, what's going on, like you would any other person, then I could identify the fact that you're not really seeing me just for my colour, really.
A couple of the questions we got on Insta I found quite interesting. Black men that have been to prison, been in the army, and things like that. Do you feel like that has an effect on black men's mental health?
One of the things I've kind of understood about how long you've been in there, what you've been in there for, does play a major role in regards to it. So, for example, on social media, some of these prisons have allowed them, they're not supposed to have mobile phones in there. They live a lifestyle where it's almost like, it's like youth club inside the prison.
Yeah.
So we're not really trying to turn around and deal with the problems of what it is. It's supposed to be a rehabilitation, but what it is, it's a conformity. So you're still sitting and eating in the same ways that you was in school. So you're sitting around these tables, you're not having the conversations where you're saying to yourself, all right, I'm committing crimes because of A, B and C. You're just being punished for them. Somebody that I work with who did a stint of about 4 years, but he actually, over about 9 years, he was in and out of jail. And one of the things that he said to me, and we was all sitting around the table and whatever it is, he said, I like my own personal space because I've been in jail for so long. So he had to turn around and sitting down here, he probably wouldn't be comfortable to be able to do it because he needs his personal space. He feels uncomfortable, and being in a tight space for that kind of time scale, having the freedom to be able to say, this is all mine now. I have to have it. He's instinctively like that. And there's another person at work. He's an older gentleman, and he did a stint for quite some time as well, over 15 years. And one of the things he's instinctively had to live now is, whenever he goes into a restaurant, he has to sit where he can see the door. He's got kids, he's got big kids, they're all in their 20s and whatever it is. But being in that kind of level of in and out of jails, anxiety, you're anxious of these things. And it seems crazy, but if you suffer from kind of depression or whatever it is, the army pick you up and they snap you up like that. Because in the police force as well, they snap you up because as far as they're concerned, they can pattern you in that format. It's weird because we would say as black people, if you join the police force, you'd be like, no. But joining the army, where they're just like, it's kind of alright, it's the army, innit?
But the fact that they actually...
But you're training to kill.
They're actively searching for people that are broken. When you think about it, seeking someone that's broken in order to program them to become killing machines, or to have no empathy for somebody that looks different or is from a different place. You get me? So even like, we're talking about that whole othering, the BAME and the POC and all of that. You get what I mean? It's
people of colour.
All of that. So it's just another way to kind of create that whole societal norm of it's us and them. You get what I mean? And when you're in the army, you feel like you're part of an us.
Big us.
It's like another gang, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
They come out broken, man. I remember I was working with this. I'm gonna call him George for the sake, and I remember him turning around and saying that his dad was in the army during the Falkland Wars or in Ireland or whatever the case may be. And when they come out of the army, and like you were saying, they were a different person, they can't they can't express anything.
They
are completely closed off.
Speak what they've seen.
What you've seen. Again, you're training somebody to kill, to take the time another person's life.
PTSD, everything.
like
PTSD is a big.
Wow.
It's a big thing, and it doesn't. You don't even necessarily have to have gone out there and murdered anyone. It just could be stuff you've seen. Like, imagine you get in the army, you're already like mentally broken and down. Like, you get in there, you meet this new family of people, you start to connect, and one or two of them just get shot in the head before your very eyes. Bro. And that's just
your new brothers.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of the people that end up going to the army have been through the same kind of circle of stuff. They might have been in a gang. And they might have already seen someone they know being stabbed or shot or whatever. So to normalize it, I'm gonna put myself in an environment. You get what I mean? That where it makes sense to be like, I would have been told, like, even going back to the school thing, I'm a naughty child or I'm aggressive or whatnot. So maybe the army makes sense
it's
for
gonna
somebody
make me someone,
like me. You get what I mean?
You don't want the camaraderie, like, so you don't want to be singled off and whatnot. And again, as you're saying with the whole school thing, it's the fact that they don't want people to be like their own self or an individual. It's like everyone has to conform, otherwise you're seen as the outsider, and then you get the labels and this and that, which will just follow you for the rest of your life.
But they don't teach empathy in school. That's my biggest going back to the school thing. Because when the moment you mentioned that, I thought, oh my god, the big light bulb, million things were going on. I thought, you know what, hold it down. You don't want to blow all them shots at the same time. But it's just so, from my own personal experience of being in school, because I was a naughty kid in school as well. Come 10 o'clock, I'll be strolling through the door late. Come lunchtime, because they used to let us out to eat, I'm gone. School is finished for me at lunchtime. You get me? I'm going West End, I'm going Virgin Megastores to play games for the rest of the day. You get me? And then I'm going home. You get what I mean? My schooling experience, it was poor, piss poor. Like, my primary school was rubbish. And my secondary school was even worse. You know what I mean? I remember there being years of schooling where I didn't have a proper teacher. It was supplies for like a year and a half.
We used to terrorize these supplies, the veins in the neck and the crying.
I don't understand why they don't recruit people that have mentoring skills to do jobs like supply teacher. It would make sense. But you can just walk up into the place, like, fair enough, you've done your little course or whatnot, but you don't have the skills, the people skills. They've already seen 4 or 5 other teachers this term, you get what I mean? So they're not interested in what you've come to say. And a lot of the time their energy as well, because for me, the teachers that I remember the most were the ones that literally sat me down and was like, why are you behaving? If you're just shouting at me and telling me I'm bad and get out of the classroom, that's not solving any kind of problem.
That's the same kind of stupid trauma that, especially when you go into prisons and so on and so forth, like being shouted at, do this, do that, do this, do that.
Same thing in the army.
Do this, do that.
But no one's asking you why or how are you feeling? What's going on? Like, what's made you do this?
No one cares enough to get to the root of the problem.
It's kind of crazy when you turn around. For example, if you're joining the FBI, they do like this whole they look at your background.
Screening,
a proper screening of your mental health. And you have to have a particular healthy mindset because they're training you to do what they want you to do. And for you to turn around and do that and then go into social community as well, it's impossible. Especially, like, have you ever seen the film, what is it? Oh, the one with, what's his name? Grey hair. Morgan Freeman.
I don't know why I'm going straight away.
He's in there for 20 years, 20, 30 years.
Sounds like I'm a stud.
And he's in there with the white guy, and the white guy breaks out of the prison and turns around and they meet up on a boat, wherever it is. And when they come out, one of the things that is crazy about doing stints for like 20 years is rates, because they're not used to being there in the community. That's crazy. You've been doing it 20 years. Boss, can I go and pee? Can I? And
certain men kick off within weeks of entering the prison. Especially, remember, American prisons are a little bit worse.
But a little bit.
One thing I've learned is you can never compare somebody's trauma. Whoever's trauma you've got, like, you can't. Oh, I did this and I did this because
I can see something and I can deal with it in a certain way, which might be seen as constructive or manly, and another person might break down and whatever. But even if that person does break down, and again, this is something that as black men we are never told, but you eventually
masculinity
learn.
again,
You get what I
the
mean?
toxic
You
masculinity
kind of
again.
get to learn that, you know what? And it's usually from a black woman. That's why I have to big up the black woman all the time. It's usually from a black woman that when you reach that stage where you literally cannot take any more and you finally reach that breaking point, there's usually a black woman there.
Just let it out.
Yeah,
You
that
can
says
cry.
to you, you know what, it's okay.
Yeah.
And in that moment, just to hear that,
That's why
that
the
is
unity
powerful,
helps.
bro.
Like,
That is
why,
powerful.
But obviously, it's seen as like, oh, it should be just a solo thing or whatever. Like that's what they're empowering it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could do this by yourself. You could be a single mother, whatever. But together, like the masculinity and the femininity, they just
balance.
Yeah,
come
man.
together. It's a
Balance.
So I'm
balance,
saying, they
Natural
talk about the
balance.
divine unity, and that is needed throughout everything. I'm telling
Definitely.
you that there's a lot of power in that. It's a shame that you need to get to that point in order to get that love sometimes. But sometimes, like, I've seen certain men in certain relationships, where the girl is like, she literally loves to push him to that breaking point.
Yeah,
It's almost
it's
like proper
That's toxic
psychological.
femininity.
That's what I'm saying. There we go. There we go.
Triggering man.
Yeah, and then be like, it's alright.
You know what though? There is gal as well that will turn it around and fling it in your face. We'll be like, oh, let it out. But then there is, I'm gonna say 1-2 of us that will be like, when you get into an argument, now you're like, was you crying last week? Was you crying last week? Barley, then. Not let me tell
Just
you.
hold it in forever. from
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Talking to you, know. Every time I talk to you, it's this.
Yeah, and those are the same man that when they break up with that girl now, they're fuckboys for life.
Yeah.
They're just mashing
Hate
up
girls.
everyone that they come across.
It's not what everyone thinks on social media, for me anyway, and my group of people. Like, more time, we just want them to be caring, loving,
Yeah, man,
empathetic,
integrity.
like they
Like,
have
that's what I'm
goals
saying.
and all of that. Care for each other, like it goes both ways. You get me, looking after each other
Have
and all
some
that.
integrity as well, like
Yeah.
feed me that good energy in it, and I'll
That's
feed
exactly
that back
it.
to you. Like, you just want that support network in it, and you want. We essentially kind of want the same things that women want because we're human beings. The separation between men and women in terms of what you want from a partner shouldn't be so deep as femininity or masculinity. Everybody wants to feel secure. Everybody wants to feel loved. Everybody wants someone that they can build with.
So
Everybody
you
wants...
don't really care about the eyelashes and the good wig. Look, 18 inches
Alright,
and then
I'm gonna
about
talk the
that.
thing in a minute. I'm
Yeah,
gonna talk.
Deep it, it's not-
Because really and truly, it's gonna sound crazy, right? It's gonna sound mad. When I was in college, right, for me, the basis for a woman to be able to, for me to be interested in, it's gonna sound crazy on camera as well.
It's fine.
She had to have KKK.
Okay, here we
Right?
go.
It's like, I tell you something.
That's racist.
Yeah. It's,
She has to have the white hood on. Come down in a hole and try to hang me.
none of that freaky business, right? What you been doing in bed, you do
Your
yourself.
college experience was different.